It's very interesting to talk about Nepal's history, okay? Nepal's antiquity is amazingly extended. It's very, very long. It is truly amazing, in fact. If we really observe the history of Nepal, study the facts, it is really, really amazing. I am a professor of law, so history is not really a matter of study, but the antiquity of Nepal attracted me to pay bigger attention to the history of Nepal, and therefore I was really, really interested, and therefore I began to learn facts of Nepalese histories, antiquity, together with China and India's history. Very interestingly, an Indian historian called Bhagavan Lal Indraji has written a small book during British time, when British were still ruling India, and this book relates to 23 inscriptions of Nepal. Okay, he has portrayed several Lichibi inscriptions in his book, and then he also has give some analysis and has tried to see the chronology of Nepalese kings in a way to prepare a chronicles. What he writes very interestingly is like Nepal's first appearance as a state began 12 years before the end of Dwapara Yuga. That means still the era or the age was Dwapara Yuga. That means Kali Yuga had not started yet. 12 years before to end that era, that age of the universe, Nepal came out as a state. So you can say in South Asia, after China, Nepal is the only country which extends as a state uninterruptedly from Dwapar Yuga to the Kali Yuga. Very few people have this information looked into and try to understand and find out facts, how far it is real or not, or if it is real, what is its significance, and if not, why probably some historians are trying to keep this history extended so far. This is very interesting. Then you can find another very important source both in China and Nepal. In China there is a mountain called Utai San. Okay, in China San means mountain, so Utai San means Utai mountain. So from that a sage, we popularly know Manjushri, came from Nepal, and he is by mythology known as the man or sage who created Kathmandu Valley after getting it out from the valley and made it an inhabitable place. So that goes another 5,000-6,000 years, and there are certain very nice books written, chronicles have been written even in Nepal in the later part. So you can see it's around 5,000 or 6,000 long civilization in this part. So China is generally said to have its 8,000 years long civilizations from the beginning. So Nepal's civilization is not less than that. So at least we have certain very specific mythologies, legends or documents to say that Nepal has a 6,000 more than 6,000 years older history with us. Then another very interesting information is also there, which is still forgotten. Buddha's first disciple, Ananda, he came from Kapilavastu with his bare foot to Kathmandu, and he stayed in Kathmandu. That means it is 2,600 years before. Very interestingly, in those days Buddha's disciples did not wear shoes. Okay, So he came without shoes, and his feet were really injured by the frost. He was bleeding, and he went back, and he said that I went to Nepal. It's a beautiful place, but it's very difficult because my feet were eaten by frost. And Buddha said, okay, onward now you can wear shoes. So Buddha's disciples coming to Nepal after that were allowed to use shoes. Okay, that's another. Interestingly enough, now there are a lot of concrete proofs that King Ashok came to Nepal. First, Kapilavastu erected stone inscriptions and pillar over there. Then he came to Kathmandu. A couple of nice intellectuals from Patan have now found a lot of evidences showing that Chaityas, several Chaityas in Patan were created by King Emperor Ashok himself. His daughter came here, and his daughter was married to Nepalese Prince Devapala, okay, who was responsible to create Devapatan. And then later on, this Chabal's monastery called Chabal Chaitya was named after her. So the place was named after her. So that is our Chaitya where she worshipped Buddhism. She stayed here in Nepal. And another very interesting information is also we found Kushana's coins. Kushanas were from Central Asians who invaded India, so they also came to Nepal. Means Kushana coins also shows that Nepal had a kind of trade with India and bewained it. And then Nepal's war with Maukhari kings in India who invaded Nepal, and Angshuvarma fought hard. He defeated, and then he created a Nepalese calendar, and that was the era where Nepal started its own unique patriotism and unique kind of national identity. Most importantly, in 648, a group of Chinese scholars had been held by descendant generals in Magad. They were tortured, they were detained, and a couple of them were killed. So on request of Tang Emperor from China, Nepal's King Narendra Dev sent 7,000 soldiers along with 1,800 soldiers of Srongcheng Gompo from Tibet to invade these descendant generals in Tiraut, and he rescued. So Narendra Dev's son Skanda Dev went to Xi'an that time, China's capital, and he was grandly welcomed. So Nepal is one of the historically rich, economically flourished, and very proudful nation. Therefore I say I will never go to any country in the world, because the only reason is like I have a pride of living in a country which has 6,000 years long history, but many youths have lost their identity because they go to a country which has 200 years history. Therefore I often say America was created as a nation when we were renovating the palace of Patan. So there are so many palaces in Nepal which are quite older to many new states. So I'm proud of being a Nepali.